श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः। गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां विशेषे वरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभः निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। शुक्लाम्बरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। व्यासं विष्टनप्तारं शक्ते पौत्रमकल्मषं पराशरात्मजं वन्दे सुखदातं तपोनिधिं। व्यासाय विष्णुरूपाय व्यासरूपाय विष्णवे नमो वै ब्रह्मणिदे वासिष्ठाय नमो नमः। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्. So Krishna sets out from Hastinapura with Satyaki on his chariot. He leaves Hastinapura after discussing what he should do with all the Pandavas, Draupadi, and everybody giving their opinion on war and peace. He sets out. So he leaves there with 10 charioteers coming with him, 10 people of Rathis coming with him to support, and also 1,000 foot soldiers and 1,000 horsemen, attendants by hundreds of attendants coming with them, and also carrying enough provisions for them on their journey from Upaplavya to Hastinapura and return journey, whatever they need. They carried all the food and whatever else they need for that journey. So many people left Upaplavya, and then Janamejaya, listening to this, he asks Vaishampayana, when Krishna set out from Upaplavya, what are the signs that he saw? What are the omens that he saw? What are the things that happen? So then Vaishampayana narrates all those things. He says that even though there were no clouds in the sky, suddenly lightning and thunders started. The sky becomes very scary at times, and then large rivers started flowing in the opposite direction. All the illegal omens started seeing at that time, and this all people in Hastinapura started seeing all these things, all the horrible signs of the danger that's they started seeing dust coming through, and fire blazing up everywhere and things like that. On the other hand, wherever Krishna passed, as he was traveling, cool breeze started blowing around him, and the flowers and all the other things started falling on his path, and then the road became very delightful. It free from grass or thorns and prickly grass and thorns and all the other things. Brahmanas assembled, lined up on the right side, and started singing praise for him and blessings for him. Women came out on the road and started showing showering him with flowery garlands and other things. So like that, Krishna traveled, and then he come to his place called Shalibhavana. There he comes and he spends the night there. There after preparing all the evening his prayers and everything. Serving the food to all the brahmanas who came to see him, serving all of them. After that, he eats whatever that's left, and then after serving all of them, he eats, and then he spends the night there. So again, so then from leaving from there, again he starts the next morning. He starts his journey, and then he comes to a place called Vrikasthala. There again, he gets off, and then he tells his charioteer Daruka that wet horses are now needs rest, so set them free. And then Daruka, who is very knowledgeable on the horses and things, so he sets them free, and then they decide to spend the second night in Vrikasthala. So again, then like previous evening, he finishes all his evening duties and everything, worships the brahmanas that came there and feeding all the brahmanas, and after that he passed the night there happily after spending time with this. Meanwhile, through the spies, Dhritarashtra learns that Krishna has started from Upaplavya, and he invites Bhishma, Drona, Sanjaya, Vidura, and everybody, and then instructs Duryodhana and his counselors that Krishna is coming here. All the which is a great, which is strange and wonderful news for us. All the men, women, children, everybody talking about this, and people are very much eager to see him. And so when he comes here, everybody, he deserves worship and he deserves respect from us. So he is the Bhagavan of all the creatures. He is the creator of everything. All the entire universe rests in him. So he should be respected. And intelligence, prowess, wisdom, energy, all these are in Krishna. So one should always worship him. So he is the best among all the men, and he is the eternal truth and virtue. So Dhritarashtra again says these things, just like I said in the previous sessions where he was praising, singing praise of Krishna. Here again, he talks about all these things, but then again, kind of without devotion, okay, without that bhakti that's needed to please Bhagavan. He doesn't have that. He's saying this because everybody want to hear those things. Okay, so he's saying those things. And he's been told by everybody, Sanjaya, Vidura, Bhishma, everybody telling that Krishna is Narayana himself, right? So he has to listen to them, and that's why he's saying now Krishna is like this, so we should all respect him. So he tells everybody that without wasting time, go and prepare arrangements for this. Make sure that all along the way, there are uh, pavilions built and all the things that Krishna and his people accompanying him they need, whatever they need for their enjoyment. Let them have prepare all those things, and then so make sure that Krishna is uh, uh, very well looked after. And listening to this, Bhishma and others, they say that great, great, well done, well said. So Duryodhana then understands that Krishna is coming on his way. He builds a uh, grand uh, tent and all the arrangements that's required for Krishna's stay in Vikrasthala. So Krishna was coming for the second night there. So Duryodhana immediately builds that place there with nice carpets and all the scents and perfumes and food and whatever drinks and whatever that's needed. Okay, all the luxurious things there. So he builds everything, but Krishna did not take any of them. If you remember, uh, in the previous, in the earlier in Udhyoga Parva, we did learn about what happened to Shalya, right? So Duryodhana tricked Shalya by offering all these things and then saying that you took all my things, service, so you give me a boon. And then he said, fight for me, fight, right? So he tricked Shalya. So here Krishna did not take any of them because Krishna came prepared with all the things he needed for the journey, right? So he did not take any of them. And then finally, from Vikasthala, Krishna departs. So Dhritarashtra here tells Vidura that Krishna has already set out from there. He's staying now in Vikasthala. He will come here tomorrow. He is the leader of Yadavas and Shatwata Yadavas and Vrishnis. So everything that happens in Vrishnis are protected by him. Just like Adityas, Vasus, Rudras, everybody looks up to Brahaspati. Just like that, he is protecting them. So again, in your presence, what I will do is I will worship Krishna, and I will also listen to me what I'm going to do. I will give him 16 chariots made of gold, each drawn by four excellent horses and of Balika breed of same color horses. And I will also give him 8 elephants of strong, which have long tusks and very strong elephants, with each having 8 human attendants. I will give him a century of uh, maid servants, and also I will give him man servants, similar number. And I will also give him 18,000 woolen blankets of soft touch, which was presented to us by the hillman. And I will give him 1,000 deer skins brought from China. I will also give him all these things. Krishna, I will give him, and also I will give him the purest gems that's I have here. And also Dhritarashtra says that I will give him my own chariot, okay, with its horses. Those horses never get tired. When we go for 14 yojanas in a day, those horses don't get tired. Such a horses with my own chariot I will give him. I will give him all the provisions that he needs, even the 8 times of what he needs for his return journey to Upaplavya. So I'll give him everything for his people and everything. So he says that he's going to do all these things. Okay, thousands of people, girls dancing, and they will welcome him, and all those girls and women dancing and welcoming him, they will receive him. So he tells that all the citizens of Hastinapura, with their wives, children, everybody should respect Krishna with devotion and things like that. He makes all those things, and then he tells, prepare Dushyasana's home for Krishna's stay, because it is much better than Duryodhana's. So it is well decorated. So prepare that immediately. So again, Duryodhana is elder, but looks like uh, Dushasana has a better house here. So this is something we learn in Mahabharata. I don't think mention much places in who has the best house among those brothers. But here, Dhritarashtra clearly says that Dushasana's house is very well decorated and it is much bigger. It is beautiful building. Make sure that everything is arranged for Krishna. So his stay in that house, let's make sure that everything is ready. So listening to this, Vidura says, you are respected by everybody. Everybody regards you highly, and you are loved by everybody, and you are very aged as well. So you know all the shastras and everything. So for such a person, your mind should be calm. You should not be thinking about all the ill things and things like that. So that's why you try to do what is good for your virtuous things. Okay, don't adopt this insincerity towards Krishna. So when Dhritarashtra says, I'm going to give all these things, Vidura immediately says, don't do that. Because Vidura realizes that Dhritarashtra is not honest in his feelings. He does not have the bhakti. He just want to show off. He want to do these things, right? So just like these days we see many people going to temple or showing off, like I've made this much donation or whatever it is, right? So people want their names listed on the temple notice board, right? So this person donated this much, right? So they are not donating for the temple, they are donating because their name goes on the temple wall. So if there is a temple construction, and if you say that I'm for those who give 1,000 pounds, their names will be printed in brass plates, okay, on the temple wall. There will be a lot of people giving 1,000 pounds. If you just go as I'm building a temple, people will not go. Vidura realizes that kind of scenario here, where Dhritarashtra is saying, I'm going to give all these things to Krishna because he should be respected and worshipped. Vidura realizes, he says, your behavior is not sincere. Okay, so just from folly, don't do all these things which will destroy your sons, grandsons, friends, children, family, and everybody, all that's dear to you. It will destroy everything. So Krishna is your guest, and just like a guest should be treated, treat him like that. And I will truly tell you on these things, Krishna never comes here looking for something from you. And all these things you are offering to Krishna is only from deception, falsehood, and insincerity, because by this external actions, whatever you are doing, I know your secret purpose. So that secret purpose is making sure that Krishna is on Hastinapura side, Kuru's side, not on Pandava's side. So Vidura realizes and he tells him straight to Dhritarashtra's face that Pandavas are looking for only 5 villages. If you do not wish to give those 5 villages. So therefore, you are not ready to make any peace with Pandavas. So Krishna is here for making peace, not for your horses or chariots or gold or gems or servants or whatever it is. He is not here for that. And Krishna again is not somebody you can by wealth or anything you can separate him from Arjuna. And that Krishna, wherever Arjuna is there, there is Krishna, and where is Krishna, there is always Arjuna, and there is victory. So this again we hear this many times, right? Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, we hear towards the end of Bhagavad Gita. So the same thing here, Vidura says that those two you can never separate. So Vidura's suggestion here is take only one pot of water to wash his feet. That's all you need. You don't need horses, gems, and girls, and all the other things. Okay, to please Krishna, take with devotion one pot of water, inquire him, and then wash his feet. And that's the hospitality you should offer him, like you would offer for anybody that's coming. You want to give respect. So again, Krishna comes here for establishing the peace between Pandavas and Duryodhanas. He does not differentiate between Pandavas and Kauravas. And similarly, you also should not do. Just as Duryodhana is your son, similarly, Yudhishthira is also your son, and Pandavas also your sons. So you also should do the same thing and should not differentiate. So when Vidura says this, Duryodhana immediately jumps in and says, whatever Vidura said is correct. Krishna does not come here for the wealth. Okay. So, and he can never be separated from Pandavas. So whatever you want to offer, Krishna is not here for that. So Duryodhana's angle is slightly different here. Okay. So Duryodhana is saying he's not agreeing actually to what Vidura is saying. He just does not want to give the wealth to Krishna. That's all. Okay. He knows that Krishna is on Pandava's side. He's not going to change, and he does not want Krishna. Okay. So he's effectively saying that why waste money on this guy? Okay, when we know that he's not going to do what we want to do. Okay, so that's why he says don't do this. Let's not give it. Krishna again, Duryodhana for because everybody is listening, he says that Krishna is definitely deserves worship and respect and all these things, but he's not here for that. So that's why let's not do this. Then, so Bhishma then says, whether you worship or not, Krishna never becomes angry, and nobody. However, but if you don't, even if you don't worship or anything, if you disrespect him, that's not something that's Krishna is going to tolerate. So that's why whatever the purpose you have in your mind, don't do it as insincerely. Listen to what Krishna says. He is here for the peace and he's going to speak as per the dharma artha, what is right, and as per the virtuous things. He's going to speak of that. Do what is agreeable to him. So Bhishma suggests that. Duryodhana again immediately jumps and says, whatever that happens, I'm not going to give prosperity, whatever the wealth I have, I'm not going to share that with Pandavas. So if this is my decision, but if Krishna is going to create problems for us, I will imprison Krishna here. So because Pandavas are dependent on Krishna, and if Krishna is put in jail in Hastinapura, if he is arrested, if he is put in jail, then Pandavas don't have anyone to count on. So this whole war, everything will disappear. So tell me a way where I can put Krishna, I can arrest Krishna without creating a lot of danger for us. So Bhishma is just now telling him that don't do anything silly, stupid, insincere. And Duryodhana says, tell me how can I arrest Krishna without becoming a major danger for us. So immediately hearing this, everybody listening to this become very much worried, and Dhritarashtra then says that don't say this kind of things. He comes here as an ambassador, and besides that, he is also dear to us. He has done nothing wrong to us, and that's why he should not be imprisoned. And Bhishma says that your son's time has come. He is going to get destroyed himself, and along with him, he's going to kill everybody. So this son of yours, with all his counselors, he's going to, when he comes in contact with Krishna, he's going to be destroyed in a moment. So that's why I will not listen to any words of Duryodhana. So who is given up on all the virtuous things, all the he has abandoned righteousness and dharma, and he is abandoned completely. I'm not going to listen anything. And then Bhishma walks away from that place. So then, so that's while that happening. So Krishna here next morning, he wakes up and he uh, morning rites, finishing all the morning rites and everything, and he departs from Rakasthala, and then he enters the Hastinapura. And there, everybody comes to invite him except Duryodhana and Dhritarashtra. They come here, Bhishma, Drona, Kripacharya, everybody, Vidura, and everybody comes there to invite him. And all the people around Hastinapura, all of them were lined up on the street to see Krishna coming there and to see him coming through. Even though Krishna's horses were very fast in moving, through that so many people were there, they were moving very slowly into the city of Hastinapura. And here it says that in Hastinapura, all those tall buildings that were there, because of the people coming towards the front balcony to see Krishna walking there, Krishna coming in that chariot to see him, the buildings were actually moving towards the street and they were slanting like that. So people were lined up so much and they were very happy to see Krishna there. And all those people, Balika, Drona, Kripacharya, Somadatta, everybody came there. All the kings that's who were there with Duryodhana's army, they all came there. And after all of them are greeted, Krishna goes to the chamber where Dhritarashtra and others were there, and he was given uh, a nice golden seat to sit on, and he casually speaks to everybody there, and he again first uh, does gives his respect to Dhritarashtra, Bhishma, Drona, Kripacharya, and others, and then others he greets everybody according to their age and seniority and other things, and then after discussing having casual discussion with all of them, so he was offered again cow, honey, curd and water. So this again Madhuparka, as part of Madhuparka, when somebody special comes, you offer Madhuparka, right? So that Madhuparka was offered to him, and after all that in casual discussions, so Krishna goes to Vidura's home. So he goes there, and Vidura, when he reaches Vidura's home, looking at him arriving there, Vidura becomes very happy, and he worships him. He again inquires about welfare of Pandavas, and knowing that Vidura is the one who always loves Pandavas, Krishna explains all the things that happen. So, and that afternoon, he went to see Kunti. So Krishna then, when he goes there, looking at him, Kunti starts crying so much, and while after with very much choked voice and tears flowing, Kunti asks him, it is 14 years since I've seen my sons. I've gone through so much for them, waiting for them here, and all these things. My sons are suffering. They in the young age they lost their father, and then they were brought up by me, and then they had to spend their time now in forest. So all the troubles they had to go through, right? So they used to sleep nicely in the palace with deer skin and everything on their for them to sleep. Now they are sleeping on the bare ground. So they used to wake up with musical notes and everything, but now they had to wake up with a wild beast noise, wild praise, cries in the forest and things like that. They had to suffer all those things. How all these things that would have happened to my sons, and she remembering all the trouble that Pandavas went through. she cries, and then she also says, "How is my son, that son who is having uh, full of modesty, he is firm in his truth, who is always having his senses under control, compassion for all the creature. He one that has uh, vanquished both lust and malice, and always tread on the path of righteousness, and the one that's equal to Ambarisha, Mandarti, Iyati, Nusha, Bharata, Dilipa, Shibi, all these great kings that came through, Rajarishis that came through. His conduct is like all of them, and he's of excellent character. He's always virtuous. That in his strength, he is incapable of being baffled by anybody, and he is fit to become the king of all the three worlds. And that son, Yudhishthira, how is he doing? Uh, and then she asks about Bhima. She says that he is of 10,000 elephant strength, but having a speed of Vayu in wind. And he is again always, he's very strong and but always angry. But he does everything for his brothers. And that one who killed Kichaka, Krodavachas, Hidimba, Baka, Kimira, and many others, and is equal to Indra himself in his strength, uh, in prowess and in strength, he is equal to Vayu, and that one, how easy. Okay, so she's asked, and then she asks about Arjuna, similarly explaining his characters. Again, all these things we hear about Yudhishthira, Bhima, or all the Pandavas characters described differently, but here a mother explaining them, uh, they are sons, which is uh, pure, as well as it is not just their strength and how they look, but she also explains their characters, how they behave and everything. So Arjuna, again, she says, who is equal to Kartavirya Arjuna, the 1,000 armed Kartavirya Arjuna. He can shoot 500 arrows in one go, and that Arjuna is equal to in energy. He's like Surya himself, and he is in self-restraint. He's like a Maharshis, and he is in forgiveness like Earth himself, and is in strength equal to Indra. And that Arjuna, again, whose strength always adored by Pandavas, and he is again in an encounter. Nobody can. If somebody comes against him, they will not. In a war, they will not walk away with life. And that one who is equal to in, Indra himself, how is that Dhananjaya? Then she asks about Sahadeva, who is always compassionate to all the creatures with modesty. He's acquainted with all the weapons and is soft, delicate, virtuous, and he's very dear to me. Uh, and she says that he is again very youthful in his years, but is devoted to service of his brothers. He's always conversant with virtue and profit, dharma and artha, and is always applauded and respected, talked highly by his brothers. That's how he is. And then she asks about Nakula. So again, describing his characters, like he's brave, handsome, he's always dear to his brothers, always, even though he has a separate body, he's always walks just like whatever his brothers does, he does that. And he's always in all the conversant with all the modes of warfare, very strong, and that Nakula how we see. And then finally she asked about Draupadi. This is where she even more starts crying. Kunti, while asking about her, the one who is truthful in her speech, always choose her husbands over her children. When she had to leave for the forest, she left her sons, but went to serve her husband. And that Draupadi, how she is with all the auspicious marks and accomplishments that's there, how is she? And even though she has all the 5 husbands who are uh, capable of destroying the entire world, she had to spend 14 years. I had to spend 14 years away from her. That daughter-in-law of mine, how she is thinking about, always she must be anxious about her children, how she's and she again incurs about Draupadi and things, all the things that happened to her, even with when that she was dragged into that assembly by Dushasana, Arjuna, Yudhishthira, Bhima, Nakula, Sahadeva, none of them uh, uh, became, uh, I became affectionate towards none of my sons, but it was for Draupadi when she was in her uh, monthly season and covered in one single garment. At that time, she was dragged by Dushasana in that assembly. So, to view of everybody, that Draupadi I feel sorry for, and I remember her every time. Always remember. And again, she remembers that in that assembly, Balika, Kripa, Somadatta, many other great people were there. None of them, they were all grieved by what they saw, but they did not speak. But it was only Vidura whom I respect, because he is the one that spoke in that assembly against what was happening. So that's why she says that it is neither the learning nor the wealth that one gets respect. It is through one's action only one becomes respectable. And that's what Vidura did in that assembly. And with choking with her tears, she stops, and then she again continues about the gambling, the forest hunting, going to hunting, all these things, wicked things of the old kings. That became the occupation of the Pandavas now. So again, hunting is not recommended for kings, but kings do that, right? So, but that became the occupation of the Pandavas, how they are doing there. So those insults that happened to Krishna, that is Draupadi, that happened in that assembly, and then they all this wandering, and then living a year in concealment, all these things they had to go through. It's 14 years since the day Duryodhana sent my sons away, and I live for again. I never made distinction between Dhritarashtra's sons and my sons as a mother. I never made distinction, but I want Duryodhana killed for what he has done to Draupadi. So he should be punished for that. And she says that Pandavas lived their life virtuously, and I and then she reflects on her own life. She says that I blame my own life for Pandavas are here because my own life has been played like this. So even my father gave away me to Kunti just for some money. He gave away to me, and as a child, I was abandoned by my father, and then I was married uh, to in Hastinapura, but again I had to leave Hastinapura and live in the forest. And when Arjuna was born in that forest, in that Shweta mountains, while the Pandu and others they were living, so Arjuna was born. I heard a voice, invisible voice, that told me that this son will conquer all the worlds, and he will perform 3 great sacrifices, and he is also killing all the Kurus in a great battle, recovering the kingdom. This Dhananjaya with his brother performed 3 great sacrifices. Okay, so that's the voice I heard, and that voice I expect to become true, because dharma always should win, and it should always be achieved. And she asked Krishna, saying that it is your responsibility to make sure that that voice never, what I heard when Arjuna was born, never goes to uh, waste. So it's been 14 years since I saw all those people again. She says here that if people are gone for that long, sometimes normal people start doing offering shraddhas and tarpana and things. Normally, when a person disappears for 12 years, when a person disappears, you wait for 12 years. Okay, and if you still haven't heard about them, you normally start offering performing shraddha, assuming that person is dead. Okay, so she says that it's been 14 years. Practically, it means my children are all dead to me, but at the same time, I'm dead to them. Our life is like this. So she then conveys a message to Yudhishthira through Krishna. She says that your virtue is decreasing day by day because as a Kshatriya, you should be protecting people, feeding Brahmanas, doing sacrifices and those things, but you are living like a Brahmana, begging every day for food and things like that. You are not able to do your Kshatriya duties. That's why your virtue is decreasing. That's why act before your religious merit diminishes completely. And living on others is not great for you. So even death is before than better than living on begging and living like that as a Kshatriya. So she tells that you must tell Arjuna and Bhima that the time has come, that the event, that's when the time has come where a Kshatriya woman gives birth to her children, that is facing in this battle in the war, that time has come. So if you allow time to slip like this, then you will not be respected in this world. So take, if you contempt, so that's if you don't act now, the content you'll be regarded as contemptible. So you missed, your virtues diminished, and if contempt touches you, I will abandon you forever. So that's the message to from Kunti to Yudhishthira, saying that if you do not follow this virtuous path now, the war that's in front of you, then you will be uh, consider that I abandon you, right? So when the time comes, even if life, which is dear for everybody, should be laid down. So she says that for virtuous things, even if it means you have to give up on your life, you should be ready to do that. And then she uh, also sends a message to Nakula and Sahadeva that uh, more than life itself, you try to become through your strength to achieve the Kshatriya duties and whatever customs you need to do. So through your strength, win those things. And then she gives this message to again Arjuna, Bhima, and every Arjuna that again thread in the path that may be pointed out by Draupadi. So she tells Arjuna that whatever Draupadi says, do that. So because she knows that Draupadi is virtuous, she will not ask him to do something sinful. But at the same time, Draupadi understands what a uh, female was a mother might be feeling. Okay, so she gives that message, and she again reminds Krishna that you know everything that happened to all the Pandavas. So that's why the loss of kingdom does not make me unhappy. Defeat at the dice game does not make me unhappy, or Pandavas anything suffering does not make it. But Draupadi is dragging in that assembly in that single dress she was wearing, single piece of clothes she was wearing in her season that's dragged her. That's something I cannot take. So that's why Krishna, you make sure that these people, Dushyasana, Karna, all these people are punished. So, having said that, she again says that you have uh, all the things you need with Bhima, Arjuna, and even your own son Pradyumna, who is there. With all them, make sure that these people are punished. So Kunti addresses him like that, and then Krishna reassures him that all the things are going to happen, and she consoles her, and then Krishna bids farewell to her, and then he goes to Vidura's place. So we will look at Vidura's place next time. Any questions?